Hello, and welcome to the Today's Your Day Show segment, Someone and Things That You Need to Know. I welcome you. I'm your host, Jonathan Davis, and I'm so excited about our show today. Have an amazing guest that I will bring on in just a few moments. But I want you to know this is your chance. This is your platform that you can use to let the world know who you are, what you have going on, and all that you have to offer. You have a product, you have a service, you have an event going on. You just want the world to know who you are. This is the platform to do just that. We hope you grow your business. We hope the world know that you exist. This is the platform, someone and things that you need to know. I don't know about y'all, but I am really excited about this season. I love the Christmas season. You just feel the joy and the spirit of Christmas all around. You don't even have to go buy anything. It's just you walk in stores, there's great music on the radio and in the stores. People are smiling. I see some of y'all, running from the people that are at the entrances, shaking the bell. Is it Salvation Army? I think that's it. I think it's Salvation Army. Ringing the bells. It's okay if you have some change in the car. Just put it right there in the red bucket. It's okay. It's okay. They're not gonna beat you up. But it's just a great season. And after once Christmas passed, then we have a new year. So it's just an exciting time. This part of the year that I just enjoy. And I wanted to make sure that I had a show before the new year. And I wanted you all to know this wonderful young lady that I'll bring on in just a moment, all about her and how you need to connect with her and buy whatever she got and hire her to do whatever she does. Because I wanted the world to know she's such an amazing person, but I wanted the world to know who she was. So I need to pay bills. Just quick moments. And I want to, of course, first thank Davis Consultants for being the main sponsor for the show. If you want speaking, branding, assistance, life coaching, executive coaching, neuro-linguistic programming, CEO mentorship, and business consulting and coaching, these are the people that you need to call. www.davisconsultantsgroup.com. Again, that's www.davisconsultantsgroup.com. Also, the Proclamation 101, they're now meeting on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but you need to go to YouTube. Doesn't even matter what the flyer says. On YouTube, you type in the Proclamation 101, that's all one word, and you hit subscribe and you hit the bell to make sure that you don't miss anything that they are doing. I promise you, you will not be let down. They have an amazing Bible study every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's just like having Bible study in the living room with your family. It's very interactive, but it's good. It's good. And I'm grateful for them being a sponsor for the Today is Your Day show and being a student for this Bible study. I come ready to learn, and I do just that when I'm on. I want to thank our partner, A Word and a Song. You can go to Facebook, and they also have a page, A Word and a Song, on Facebook. You can click like, or you can go to Montre Roberts' page on Facebook. That's Montra Roberts. And you click on a request a friend, and every time she goes live, you will be ready. They do it every third Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, I want you to listen and join in for the Perrys with Young People Nation.
I'm Eugene Perry.
I'm Donna Perry, and we're the host
of Young People Nation
podcast.
We know that mental health is way too stigmatized. Young people are hurting. They are in dark places, just wanting to feel heard.
That's why we're bringing no judgment conversations with the guests who have been there, done that, and want to share their experiences in an environment with transparency, healing, and safety.
So tune in and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And just remember,
there's always hope.
There is hope, and I hope that you take the time to join the Perrys. You can join them every Thursday at noon, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can also find them on YouTube, same name, Young People Nation. They have an amazing show. They talk about real issues, and it's good. It's really good. It kind of opens your eyes to a lot of things that our young people are going through, and that we need to have a conversation with them. A lot of times, they just need someone to talk to, someone to vent to. But it's actually taking out the time to do just that, giving of your time to the young people in your life. They need you. Maybe they just don't know how to voice that. But if you know, we've all been young before, and we would have loved someone to give us the time and an ear or a shoulder. And so here's your chance to do just that. But also join in on the conversation with Young People Nation podcast. All right, y'all. So you all have been waiting for this wonderful person. I want to bring on the amazing Michon Shaw with Interpret, Educate, Serve LLC. And I want you all to know, I've seen her do so many. She's so multi-talented. So she does interpretation. She brings the words. She sings. She interprets. She can dance. I've seen her. Y'all, she is a devastating diva, Delta Sigma Theta. And I'm just excited to have her on the show. I'm just elated that she said yes. But I think you would do a more amazing job on introducing yourself and all the wonderful things that you do. Please share with us.
Well, thank you, Jonathan. Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm honored to be here. My name is Michon Shaw. I am a native of Florida from a little small city called Land Lakes, Florida, where we had 2 elementary schools, 1 middle school, and 1 high school. And I'm just happy to be here. As you said, I do a few things. I dibble and dabble over here, but I am the CEO and founder of Interpret, Educate, Serve, where we provide in ASL, American Sign Language Interpreting Services across the US. We also provide webinars and workshops for interpreters. And then we also provide apparel and merchandise for interpreters as well. So that's the little squeeze of the little things that I do.
That is wonderful. So, of course, you are a hearing and speaking person. So tell me, what got you started in all this?
So sometimes people ask, well, do you have anybody who's deaf in your family? And not in my immediate family. I started when I was probably, I believe, 5 or 6 years old. My older brother, was doing some type of a project. And in the encyclopedia, and that's how far back I go, in the encyclopedia, he found the American Sign Language alphabet, the manual alphabet, A to Z. And so my mother encouraged him to teach my twin sister and I the alphabet. And so at age 5 or 6, we started using the alphabet mainly in church so that we didn't get in trouble. My dad is a pastor, and so we would just fingerspell words back and forth during service. And so fast forward to 2nd grade, the school, elementary school, started teaching us sign language. They would take us to the library once a week. And I never figured out how or why. I don't know if it was a pilot program, but for once a week, they took us to the library and taught us sign language. And my parents saw how I came home just excited and thrilled. And Mommy, look at what I learned today. And from there, they allowed me to take a couple of classes in the community. And it turned out that my middle school and high school were the hubs for the county for all the deaf kids to come. So I was exposed to the art of interpreting, to the profession of interpreting, and exposed to the deaf community while I was in middle school and high school. And by the time I graduated from high school, my initial goal was to go to Florida A&M and follow the footsteps of my mother, of my grandmother, of my great-grandmother. But unfortunately, Florida A&M didn't have an interpreter program. And so I ended up attending the University of South Florida to major in sign language interpreting, to become an interpreter.
Wow. Was that an easy journey, being that you had done it, throughout, middle school and, well, elementary, middle school, and high school? I mean, was that an easy transition, or was it even more hard?
I think easy is relative. Easy because it was a passion.
Mhm.
I am passionate about culture. I'm passionate about people. I'm passionate about connecting and building bridges. And I feel that I get those passions from my parents. I watch them um, effortlessly just build connections and network. My father was a trustee board member of a state college, and I would sit there and watch him have conversation, and he just did it so effortlessly. By the end of a conversation, he could have just first time met somebody, and he knows their grandmother's name. He knew where they grew up, and so translating that into first learning American Sign Language as a language, as its culture, because those are two different things. To know a language and then to actually interpret from one language, break down what's being said, and then put that into a second language and make sure that the messages are equivalent. Um, those are two different things. So the language portion, I love language. I speak Spanish. I can get through in a conversation. And my mother encouraged me, Michon, just double major and take Spanish, and then you could be a trilingual interpreter. I was like, Mom, that's going to take too long. How I wish I had listened. But so language is easy. I've been doing Spanish since middle school. I've been doing sign language more so since high school. And then the interpreting part, now that's difficult. That is really hard. I have to listen to one language, make sure that as that message is coming in, I'm breaking it down and figuring out how to place it into another language so that it is equivalent and still receive information and still monitor to make sure that I'm interpreting it correctly and go back and forth. That was difficult. That was really difficult, but my passion pushed me and helped encourage me to see it through to the end.
Let's stay there for just for a moment. Let's talk about passion. Why do you feel, or it sounds as if passion has power? I mean, like, how do you feel that pushed you?
Well, I'm faith-based, and so certainly I believe that God has given me the desires to do what I do. And so I believe that passion can really, if we allow it to, it can fuel us when we're tired, when we're exhausted, I'll talk about me, when I feel like giving up, when I feel like, it's not worth it. I then reflect on, well, what is my passion and what is my why? When I was a professor at the University of South Florida, I often started the semester off with my students asking them, what is your why? Why are you here? Why are you in this interpreting program? Why do you want to become an interpreter? What is your end goal? And so if we constantly keep our why and our passions in front of us, and actually we can be a little scientific and put it behind us and let it push us, let it be inertia and push us, it can truly push us past those days and those moments and those seconds when we are saying, y'all can have this. Let me go do something else. Let me just go sit down. So passion is important, and we have to constantly keep that in front of us. Whatever we have to do, we have to be. What was the woman's name? Was it Jane in the movie Being Jane, or in the TV show Being Jane? And she would write on her mirror sticky notes, whatever we have to do to remember our passion. And if we haven't figured out our passion, sit down and do some journaling, or sit down in prayer and ask God, Lord, help me to find my passion so that my passion and my purpose can actually be aligned and can be manifested.
Do you feel that within your life that your purpose is to interpret, but even beyond that?
I feel that my purpose is definitely inclusive of interpreting. I think interpreting is one of my assignments. I think that my purpose is also to connect and to build connections and to build networks. And so, as I mentioned, I honor my parents in that they were constantly saying, oh, Michon, so-and-so, they're this person and this person, or getting somebody's phone number, getting somebody's email address. And I think over the years, how we communicate and how we connect with others it's changed, but still at the core, it's communication. And so as an interpreter, if I'm able to connect two worlds that would otherwise not be connected because of a barrier to communication, then I feel that my purpose is continuing to be fulfilled. So someone who doesn't sign with someone who does sign, and then being able to connect and have relationship and have the ability to meet each other where they are, I think it's imperative and it's necessary for us as a society to continue to grow and to love and to honor difference and to create spaces and to nurture spaces where we honor people's differences.
I think that's wonderful. Even in the comments, Classy Spellman says, passionate about building connections, and that it's good keeping our why in front of us. I think that's actually really important, because we all get to this place, as you had shared, we all get to this place of being tired. We all get to this place of, okay, y'all can have it. I'm over this. The frustration, even when things aren't lining up, when you're like, okay, God, you told me to do this. We thought this would be a little bit easy. I mean, like, where your hand? Because I need you to work on some of this to pull this together. But I agree with you and Classy in the comments on saying the why, keeping that in front of you, that helps push you along the way.
It does. I was speaking with a recent graduate, Diane Bostic. She just graduated with her master's degree. She's 50 plus years old, and she went back to school, and she has now her master's degree. And she said, and it struck me. She said, she was talking to herself, and she said, girl, stop complaining because you prayed for this. I was like, whew. And so I'm a current PhD student at Florida A&M studying educational leadership. And this semester has been difficult. It was my very first semester. I haven't been in school in 10 years. And so now pursuing my doctorate with 3 children, with a full-time career, with plus. And there were times, I remember one of my first weekends, I sat there and I had these tears coming down my eyes, looking at the time, looking at the clock. I'm like, how am I going to get this done? They require us to take 3 courses every semester. And so I looked to my husband and I was, trying to vent a little bit. And he looked at me like, do you think I was going to give you some pity? I mean, come on, honey, we got to get this done. And I was like, I get nothing? No, you get nothing. Get it done. Let's go. And I had to really take that along with what Diane Bostic said about, she had to tell herself, stop complaining because I prayed for it. And I did. I prayed, Lord, let me get accepted into this program. Lord, let this program help fuel me to my next vision and my next goal. And I said, all right, I can't complain anymore about what I've prayed for and what I've prayed about and what he's answered and what he's manifested. And now just because it's hard, I got to keep the head up and keep going and keep seeing it through. So
that's wonderful. Very encouraging, because we need to. It's, of course, it's going to get hard. Anything that we're moving forward in, and even that we do well in, I mean, it gets tough unless we, get in that just coasting mode and not care. But when you're passionate about something and you're moving forward and you're trying to be the best that you can daily, it's like, whoo, this gets exhausting. I'm over it.
yeah.
But you have to keep moving forward. You have to keep moving forward. So, when you just said this, congratulations on jumping in and going back to school and on your PhD. I think it's even amazing now that listening to your testimony on getting started, you're now going to be a graduate of FAM.
I know.
About, yeah.
I know. My heart's desire. A lot of my family, not just my mother and grandmother and great grandmother, but a lot of my family graduated from Florida A&M, and I believe in legacy. I believe in the power of legacy, and I'm working now, striving hard now to ensure that I'm leaving an indelible mark for those that are coming behind me. And I believe that part of our legacy, we get to see it while we're still alive.
Mm-hmm.
We can do that, and we can see that. And so I look at some of my former students who are now graduates and who are now interpreters in their own right. They have their own businesses. They're full-time interpreting. And I'm looking and I'm saying, I get to see legacy before I close my eyes. I get to see legacy in my children. I get to see legacy in everything that I'm doing. I get to see it. And I know that people often say, well, you don't see legacy until you die. No, I believe that I'm seeing legacy now.
That's good. I see Devonna Davis in the comments saying Rattlers, her son, my nephew, and niece are actually students at FAM right now. And then one of my other sisters, Janelle Davis in the comments, she graduated from FAM as well. So, I get it. I get it.
Yes. Our motto is excellence with caring. That's the motto of Florida A&M. And I feel that just so aligns with what I'm about.
That's good. That's good. What do we do first? I'll ask some more questions, then we'll jump onto your business. I've been to you all's church, and I've even seen y'all's Bible says, and I was very impressed to see that even online you all do interpretation. And why do you find a friend asked me this morning when they saw that you were going to be on the show? They thought, do you find it important to have sign language interpretation at church, and why?
Important is not even, it doesn't touch the surface. The Deaf Missions Organization has a statistic that shows 98% of deaf people worldwide have not met Jesus. They have not encountered Jesus in their language. So American Sign Language is used in America. It is not universal. It is used in America. There are different sign languages all across the US, different sign language in Canada, in Mexico, in Puerto Rico. Everywhere we go, there are different sign languages. And so for us to really understand that 98%, so only 2% of deaf people worldwide have encountered the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to pause and just let that number sit there for just a moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's a horrible statistic. It's jaw-dropping. And so the fact that Shekinah Glory Cathedral realizes the need for us to provide interpreters so that they, meaning the deaf community, is exposed to the gospel of Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. It's imperative. It's necessary. We have deaf members because we provide interpreters. Mm-hmm. And so our Sunday morning service, our Tuesday night Bible study is all in sign language and includes interpreters rather. And even our Thursday night Bible study that's in Spanish, we have trilingual interpreters on that Bible study so that we have access, 100% access to the deaf community. Anytime Pastor Shaw does an announcement or anytime he goes live, we were going live every Thursday morning with noonday moments. We had interpreters provided. And while, yes, it is costly, yes, we pay our interpreters because this is a profession and they are paid. We may not see the dividends. We may not see the return right now. But when our deaf members say, and they testify, and they can now talk about what just happened on Sunday, how the word has changed their life, how they have 100% access to the gospel, that proves our why. Just recently, I think she's about 50 years old or so, one of our members testified about why she joined our church and our deaf members. And so she said all growing up, her mom made her go to church, didn't understand what was happening in service. And it wasn't until now as a grown adult in her 50s that she now understands Jesus. She now understands the gospel. She now understands the word just because it's exposed in her language, because she's getting the word in her language. So every time I see a post from our deaf members that echoes the sentiments of Pastor, or anytime I share it back with the board of directors, I share it back with the CEO so that they see, yes, we're paying our interpreters, but the ROI, the return, is somebody's soul. We can't put a price on somebody's soul. We can't put a price on them accepting Jesus because they understand the word of God. So to answer your question wholeheartedly, yes, it's necessary. And so we encourage other churches, if they need support or need access, or they want to be able to do the same thing so that we can decrease that 98% not being exposed to the gospel. If they need support, Interpret, Educate, Serve can help do that and can help provide interpreting services.
Well, that was a great segue. That was a great segue to us talking about your business.
Yeah.
So let's do just that. And so tell us what your no, not that one, right? Maybe this one first. Yeah, let's talk about what your business actually is.
Yes. So it's really funny. We've been in business since 2019. And I had a Black principal, and I'll tell you why I said that. I had a Black principal call and say, Michon, I want you to come and teach sign language to my students. So send me your information over and send me your business info so that we can get you set up as a vendor and a contractor for the county. I said, absolutely, I would love to. Hung up, called my husband. Hey, we need to go start a business.
Love it.
Hadn't even started. So same day, went on the website, created an LLC, and I did the same thing. And it was so odd. Second grade class. Second grade, he wanted me to come and teach second graders sign language. That was the same grade that I learned sign language and I was experiencing sign language. So what I did, I went into the space. I think he gave me 5 classes throughout the whole day. And I turned my voice off. I did not use my voice in the classroom. So they had full exposure to what is this like communicating with a language that I've never been exposed to. And so I gave them that deaf culture perspective of I'm not going to use my voice to teach you American Sign Language, which is a visual language. So I turned it off. In every classroom I went in, I started with the basics. And they were able to, by the time I left, I was there a few weeks, they were able to introduce themselves. They were able to have sentences. And the thing is, teachers would stand in the back and they were shocked. Like, this is the quietest my class has ever been. How did you do this? In the whole class. And they just sat there bright-eyed and soaked everything up. And so hopefully that exposed some other kids to sign language and will maybe one day motivate them to become interpreters. But that's how we started in 2019 as a contractor for a county, for Pasco County schools, and coming in and teaching sign language. And so then that led to, I was invited to present at a conference, and I presented about the Black interpreter educators experience. And so when I got my master's degree in teaching or interpreting pedagogy, which is interpreting in higher ed, not teaching sign language, teaching the art and science of interpreting, I went and talked about that experience. And as a presenter, I said, you know what happens if I create and design some apparel and bring it to this conference? The conference was the National Black Deaf Advocates Conference, which is an advocacy organization founded in 1982, committed to supporting the Black deaf community. And so I brought some apparel with me. It was the first time I had designed anything. And I did that because there was nothing out there in the market that showed and that represented Black interpreters rock. And so I said, I'm just going to take a small amount. I'm just going to take 5 shirts. I sold out in 5 minutes. And I said, oh my goodness. Okay, so y'all like this. All right. What do you mean you sold out? I wanted to get a shirt. I said, okay. So I took that idea back home and I started designing apparel. And I started selling apparel and merchandise. And so then different cultures started coming and saying, hey, Michon, can you make something for my culture? Can you make something that said Latina interpreters rock? Can you make something that says, I said, sure. And so then I began to expand the designs. And you may be asking, well, why start with Black interpreters rock? Why start with Latina interpreters rock? It's because in the interpreting profession, it is approximately 90% white female.
Really?
90% white female. So according to the Registry of Interpreters for the Deaf, founded in the 1960s, since that time, since the 1960s, it's still approximately 90% white female. And so with that, there are not a lot of Blacks in the profession. And so if we look at representation and why representation matters, it matters because when we look at the deaf community, it's not 90% white female. The deaf community is diverse.
Yeah.
Black, we have Latino, we have Mexican, we have a diverse deaf communities, right? So we have the deaf and blind community who are deaf. They're also blind. And so the way that they receive communication is through protect time, which means their hand is on another interpreter's hand and they're receiving language and communication through the use of interpreting with their hands on top of another interpreter. We have deaf and disabled. There's so many different communities, so many different diversities within the deaf community. So when we look at the interpreters, our interpreters in the profession should be able to match the diversity in the community. And so when it doesn't, that leads to that leads to misinterpretations that happen because cultures don't match. Can you imagine going and sitting in and interpreting for a culture that you've never been exposed to or you're unfamiliar with? Of course, there are going to be misunderstandings. There are going to be things that are omitted and left out because our cultures don't match and we're just uneducated. And so one of my goals and my purposes is to, number one, rep our profession as interpreters. Number two, rep the diversity that's needed in our profession. And number three, to increase, expand, empower interpreters of color as well.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. But you've been dropping these nuggets, one, but also these statistics and facts. It's like, wow. I mean, of course, if you don't know that world, you're ignorant to it all. But this is jaw-dropping on the information that you're giving today. I've been showing the different things on what they can expect to gain and what they need to go buy, even if they aren't interpreters. Go to your website and buy. I need to put your website on the screen. Tell me your website.
Sure, it's theinterpreterbox.com. And that's because I recently, 3 years ago, started a subscription box for sign language interpreters. And it's a bi-monthly subscription where interpreters can get a surprise box, a mystery box. It's a theme box. And every 2 months in that box is newly designed apparel just for the subscribers. It's items that interpreters can use to help us either improve what we do or just to assist us in our profession and what we do. So theinterpreterbox.com.
Let's see if I may have done this right. Can you see the screen? Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure everyone knows that they need to that yours is so much nicer. I don't know why I do it that way. Sorry, just seeing your message.
It's okay.
But I want people to know how they can get to your site and subscribe, even if they're not interpreters, and that or if they want to give, hey, it's Christmas time, you can definitely interpreter that would love to get these surprise boxes monthly. What a wonderful gift it can be. And I think you all need to purchase some for someone else. I think that was a blessing to someone. And I'm excited. I need to take time. I'm not even I will say I have such a heart and passion. Let me just say heart. I'm gonna start with heart. Heart for sign language. I have taken many classes, but they weren't as intense as I had liked or wanted. But I've learned some.
Awesome. Yes.
I'm gonna just say that just to keep myself safe. And but so some things I do know, some things I don't, but I'm learning, and I just think it's so imperative to have some knowledge of it in your life, because you go places. What if you go somewhere and the person that has the information that you need only knows sign language? Then what do you do then? Where we're doing all these, they're creating all these different apps and devices that will help you with other languages, but the sign language, we do that too.
Right, that's right. What do we do when the expert in the room doesn't communicate in your same language? Absolutely.
Listen, if you didn't open our eyes today, I think this is wonderful. Oh, I saw this, and I don't know if you wanted to talk on this, Denny.
Yes, this is our new endeavor. I am about action. And so the reason why I went back for my master's, I was complaining that there were underrepresentation of Black interpreter educators in the field, Black interpreter educators in the classroom. So I didn't have a professor who looked like me in the interpreter program. I stumbled across the National Black Deaf Advocates Conference. I was not introduced to the Black Deaf interpreting community, the Black Deaf community. I found it myself. And so I had to stop saying, oh, it's them. And I said, no, I will go back and get the degree that I need so I can go be a professor, and so that I can be that one that I didn't have for my Black interpreting students, for my interpreting students of color. And so here it is again. I'm saying, oh, we don't have interpreter programs at historically Black colleges and universities. Well, Michon, why do we need interpreter programs at historically Black colleges and universities? Well, if the statistics show that HBCUs produce, if they are statistics saying, and this is according to the White House, their initiative that they did, HBCUs produce 70% of doctors. So the Black doctors, pardon me, Black doctors that are in the medical field, 70% of them came from an HBCU.
Wow.
80% of Black judges graduated from an HBCU. Lawyers, 50% of Black lawyers graduated from an HBCU. Let's talk about Congress. 40% of the Black Congress members graduated from an HBCU. So if we're out there, teachers, public school teachers, 50% of Black public school teachers graduated from an HBCU. So if HBCUs are producing and giving out and establishing Blacks in these professions, and we still have such a low number of Blacks in the interpreting profession, our numbers are about 7% in the profession are Black. And if we talk about those who are certified and are Black and male, 4% of Black interpreters who are males are certified in the profession. So then what can one of the solutions be? One of the solutions can be, let's increase the number of Blacks in the interpreting field, and let's create and let's establish an interpreter program, a degreed interpreter program at an HBCU. And so coming soon, hopefully, fingers crossed, before December 31st, is going to be the IES Foundation Incorporated, a non-for-profit 501c3 that will do just that. We are committed to providing educational resources that are necessary for Blacks and interpreters of color, for those who are Indigenous, using funds from the community and private sectors and foundations and grant money in order to do just that, to empower, to expand, to grow the number. Because again, it points right back to the deaf community. The deaf community has had, for I don't know how long, probably since time, they have not had equal access. We can look at so many different events that are happening. Let's talk about the Super Bowl, who, if they're bringing on someone who's using sign language to sign the Star Spangled Banner, they don't keep that interpreter on the screen. We can point to so many different places. Right now, I'm an interpreter. I'm a full-time interpreter. And even now, I still get pushback of, well, why do I have to provide an interpreter? Don't you guys pay for that? Doesn't the deaf person just bring somebody from their family? Absolutely not. The Americans with Disabilities Act, the ADA, passed in 1990 under President Bush, said they have the right to access, they have the right to communication. And so the foundation is going to do that to ensure that our Black interpreting students and our interpreting students of color and our HBCUs are producing for the deaf community to have access, equal access. So.
That is amazing. Well, congratulations, bravo to you.
Thank you.
And because this is so important, I want to make sure that people know that how they can help. Can you tell them how they can participate and be of service or help to this foundation?
Yes, if you go to interpreteducateserve.com, which is right here at the bottom of the screen, on that homepage, there is a give button, and you can give towards the foundation. And so those funds are going towards scholarships. We endeavor to see full ride scholarships for students interested in becoming interpreters. And not just any interpreter, I mean qualified interpreters, those who are skilled, those who are connected to the community, those who are just well-rounded interpreters. And so your giving will support the IES Foundation. Yes, Dr. Lisa, she is amazing. Dr. Lisa is amazing. We have had several conversations. She has the Black Deaf Education Project. She's out of California, and she's doing important work just like this. She was one of the ones that I talked to before I went and began my graduate studies, my doctoral program. So yes, there's work out there. Listen, the laborers are few. The harvest is great, and the laborers are few.
Come on,
But
Lord.
I can say that the laborers who are out there getting the work done, we are connecting and we are empowering and we are ensuring that access becomes the standard. And that's what IES stands for. We want to not only interpret, educate, and serve, but we want access to be the standard, period. That even our deaf members, they don't have to ask, well, is there going to be interpreter? No, they don't have to ask. They just know that when they show up, interpreters will be provided, and so that they have access. So if you want to give to the IES Foundation Incorporated, you can go to interpreteducateserve.com and support our mission.
Definitely, y'all's businesses, before maybe y'all do year to year. I mean, not year, end of year giving. This is a foundation I believe that you should give. I mean, hey, you may just have some savings or money you just want to give to and serve to someone else. Hey, go right to this website that's going at the bottom of the screen, and you'll be a blessing to so many. You all heard those statistics. I mean, we need to help. And we can do just that through your funds. So how do they do that again?
So go to interpreteducateserve.com. And the second image on the page says coming soon, a nonprofit 501c3. And your giving will support our submissions and our filings and our scholarships, our programs. We're planning. We have so much to plan and so much to do, but just know that the work it's going to get done. Period. There are no excuses. We are implementing our 12 Ps. We are making sure that we are proper pre-planning so that there is a great performance that will continue to last, not just for next year, but for years to come.
That is wonderful. So, and thank you for sharing.
Absolutely.
That with us. I want you to encourage those that are watching that may not know sign language, that it's important and imperative to maybe add that to their list of things that they need to learn.
Right. In other countries, it is the norm. It is the standard to know multiple languages. And I love that about other cultures and other countries, how that represents that they feel that there's a need for us to be able to connect with others in their language instead of expecting for people to learn our language. So deaf people can't learn to speak unless they take these rigorous speech therapy. I'm sorry. Let me back up. I misspoke. Deaf people can't learn to hear. That's what I should have said. Deaf people can't learn to hear. But people who can hear, which we call hearing people, can learn sign language. And so there are so many different opportunities to learn for free. The Oklahoma School for the Deaf, twice a year, maybe 3 times a year, but the Oklahoma School for the Deaf, they offer on-demand classes for free, taught by deaf people on demand. They give you a login, and you can take their ASL 1 and ASL 2 classes for free. And so I've been giving that out to different people. If you Google Oklahoma School for the Deaf ASL classes, it'll pop right up. There are apps that are available for free. We can learn something if we just put the time in. Mm-hmm. If we say, I want to learn my alphabet and how to say my name. Okay, block out that time on your calendar, just like we block out time to go to a concert, just like we block out time to sit down and catch up on Netflix, just like we block out time to sit down and work out. We have to do the same thing with anything that we want to do. So block out that time on your calendar and say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. to 8:30. I'm going to invest 30 minutes. Whatever the time is, whatever time you have, block it out, put it on your calendar. And then when you do it every week, put a check mark and then practice with somebody. There are websites that you can log into. Google is a good friend of ours, right? And especially now we have Chat GPT, we have AI. There's absolutely really no reason why we cannot learn. Somebody asked me, well, do your children sign? And I said, yeah, they were actually signing before they were talking because I turned off my voice and I signed with them. And it's so much easier as children and as babies to pick up language. To talk, it's hard. Sometimes even now as adults, we mispronounce words. It's just hard. But even children, there was people that were concerned, oh, are they going to be able to speak? They'll be fine. They're exposed to hearing people and talking all the time. Let me expose them to sign language. And literally just this morning, my daughter was riding in the car. She's in 6th grade. And she said, Mom, there's a girl in my class who's deaf in one ear and uses sign language. And I was like, really? How cool is that? And I said, well, does she have an interpreter in the classroom? She said, her interpreter is virtual and is on the computer, is on a laptop. I said, did you introduce yourself and did you sign your name? She said, I did. And of course, when somebody's communicating in your heart language, that makes you feel good. Like you're meeting me on my level. I don't have to figure out what you're saying because lip reading is inaccurate. 30% accuracy on lips because it's just hard to read lips. And so for people to assume that deaf people read lips, no, that's hard. Let us try to do that. Let's turn the TV off, turn the sound off, and let me see what they're saying, and then turn on the captions and say, oh, well, no, that wasn't right.
Right.
And then at the same time, captions is English. American Sign Language is not English. It's not. It has its own grammar, its own structure, its own grammar. It's its own. So even to force deaf people to say, oh, well, we'll just write back and forth at the doctor's office. It's not their language. Let's write back and forth in Spanish. Is that your language? So I feel that it's just, my motto is we got to educate with grace. We have to educate with grace. When we educate with grace and and that grace meaning people may not know. We can't make assumptions that people know. So your initial question was, how important is it to learn sign language, right? I'm going to say it's imperative. Mm-hmm. Imperative. And you're not too old. No one's too old. You're not too old. We can always learn something new. And if it's something as simple as hello, if it's something as simple as thank you, something as simple as nice to meet you, those all can be heartfelt, especially when there's a deaf person who is navigating a space that is created for a hearing world. Our society is created for hearing people. And so deaf people have to learn to accommodate, navigate spaces, because oftentimes society in the world is not created or designed for them unless they are in these unique spaces and hubs and silos that are.
Listen, of course, you're talking, but I'm watching your hands the whole time. I'm like, gosh, you make it look so easy. But which I think is you've been doing for years. But yeah. I want you to, being, you all have a ministry, and First Lady as well. There are pastors that are watching. I see Reginald Cofer, who's a pastor here. Tell me something, or encourage them to make that imperative for their ministry, to have an interpreter in their services.
Again, if we go back to the statistic of 98% of deaf people worldwide have not been exposed to the gospel of Jesus Christ in their language, in their signed language, I think that statistic speaks for itself. And so if there are pastors or ministers or anyone who is interested in reaching that community, if the gospel says go out into all the world, preach the gospel, how do we preach and proclaim if we're not preaching it in their language? And so oftentimes we see we easily see spoken language interpreters brought on, right? We see them standing next to the podium and they're speaking, and the person who's speaking in English, they'll pause and wait for the spoken language to come through. We often see that more than we see the interpreting services. And so for those who are interested in reaching that audience and witnessing and making sure that that 2% of those exposed to the gospel goes to 3% and 4% and 5%, we have to first understand what we're looking for in interpreters. And so just as in any other profession, there are specialties. In the interpreting profession, there are specialties as well. Doctors have oncology, OBGYN, all these specialties, as does the interpreting profession. And so within the interpreting profession, for those who are interested in bringing interpreters into religious spaces, you want to make sure that you're specifically contacting interpreters who have learned, studied the religious interpreting space. Because we know in church, we've got our church lingo, right? We've got our church jargon. We have our church antics, and we have our church things that we do that we know. Those who go to church, we know, or those who grow up in church know, oh, okay, that's what that means. Or even the Bible. How many translations of the Bible do we have to help us understand it better in English? So the same thing has to happen in the interpreting profession. It's wonderful and amazing to bring in an interpreter. But if I bring in an interpreter who has not been exposed to church, who does not know the Bible, who does not even know in American Sign Language, how do we relay that information, then it's going to fail, meaning the interpretation is not going to be accurate compared to when we bring in an interpreter who's been exposed and has trained and has learned and has been educated on what it means to be an interpreter in the religious space. Same as interpreting in the medical space and healthcare and K through 12 and in court. And so within my company, we do provide webinars, workshops, and we're starting soon to provide some on-demand courses for interpreters who are either interested in becoming interpreters in religious spaces or who are interested in honing their skills and being an interpreter for different churches. And so they can always reach out, and maybe you don't know where to start, reach out to me. I'm happy to, like I said, make a connection, bridge a gap. And depending on where you are located, I'm happy to find and make some connections so that churches and ministries can provide access to the deaf community.
That's wonderful. I mean, you did it, but I promise you, I was like waiting for you to pause. I'm like, I'm about to pull a picture up and like, if you're looking for somebody, I know someone. We are honored to have the founder. So yeah. So again, how do they reach out to you?
So you can reach out via my website, and you can also send me an email at info@interpreteducateserve.com, and happy to make those connections.
Listen, I want everyone to, they need this in their lives. They need this. And I mean, today has just been amazing. And you've given us such knowledge and nuggets today that has really been a blessing. Things I didn't know. Again, I love sign language. I always have that on my list of things that I want to do and be fluent in. But you have to continue to do it. You have to continue to do it, just like any other language. You have to. And then I found that, just like you said, it's easier if you have someone to do it with, like rehearse or practice with, because you're doing it by yourself. I mean, you can learn, of course, but when you can't, activation.
Right. And the interesting thing is in interpreter education, educating those to become interpreters, we are seeing students coming into the classroom who were self-taught because the internet is just that amazing. We are seeing students who watched YouTube clips and took their own legit learn from YouTube and have had full conversations, and they did not learn in a classroom setting. They learned strictly online on a website. And it's just like, what, you did that? And so we want to make sure that we're adding in the necessary component of meeting deaf people, because we're learning their language, their culture. We're using what's theirs and we're incorporating that into our lives. But it can be done. Sure, it can be done.
Yeah, again, those that are watching, they are hopefully they're putting this on the resolution list for 2025. That those that are watching that have ministries, they're saying that I need to reach out to her because I want what any interpreter that she has to be a blessing to our ministry, our organization, whatever it is. Yes. So I'm letting you all know there's no excuse. We have every way to reach her and her company at the bottom of this screen. So you can't go back and say, man, I wish you'd have told us. No excuse. Just pick one. Just pick one. Okay. I mean, of course, just to be fun, can you teach us at least something to maybe start a conversation with somebody? Hello, my name is, or whatever you want to teach, something easy. I know what's hello name, but I'll let you do it. Okay.
Right, you're right. So hello.
Hello. My name A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Love it. Love my name is.
Hello, my name is Michon.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I read it. I said it to myself, and I should have said it out loud and interpret the whole time. I was like, "Hello, my name is Michon." Yeah, y'all didn't catch that. She gave us our cheat sheet first. But yes, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your gift with us. Thank you so much for sharing your business with us and understanding how important this is. Also, if you all are looking for a ministry to connect to, please. I thought I had that flyer up on the screen, but I do not. But again, especially those in the deaf community, or someone that's in the deaf community that needs a church that they can learn about Jesus and do just that and not have to worry about, oh, I can't hear. How am I going to learn? They do interpretation. Let me make this a banner and put it at the bottom. And tell us where that is.
Yes, so our pastor and founder is Pastor A.D. Shaw. I have the pleasure of being his wife, and our church is located in Plant City, Florida, which is just about 25 minutes east of Tampa. We're right in between Orlando and Tampa, right off of the interstate. And our ministry, we have our worship service on Sundays at 12:15 Eastern Standard Time. We come on live at 12:30. And so while we do have, let me add this, while we do have interpreters in person, our pastor approves for our interpreters to be in screen. And so I say that because I talk about access being the standard. So if our people who can hear can watch service from their bed, or can watch service while they're on the plane, or can watch wherever they are, our deaf people should be able to do the same thing. So our pastor keeps our interpreters in the actual screen, and he allows us to actually stand right next to the podium, so that the deaf people have easy eyesight or easy line of sight rather, to see the person who's speaking as well as the interpreter. And so on Sundays at 12:30 in person and live, online. And then Tuesday nights, our Bible study in English at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard. And then our Bible study in Spanish with trilingual interpreters at 7:00 p.m.
Y'all, it's a wonderful ministry. I've been able to and blessed to participate in their services, and you all will be blessed. If you're looking for a church home, Shekinah Glory Cathedral is just the place. Again, you don't even have to be in Florida to be a part of this ministry. So you all know y'all can get language if you can't hear or if you're not hearing person. There's just no excuse. And this ministry believes in, getting the word out in every way. And so again, if you're looking for a church home or a ministry to connect with, Shekinah Glory Cathedral is just that. And we've had an hour with the First Lady. That is a blessing to that ministry as well. That does and wears a lot of hats there as well. But I, again, want to thank you so much for giving us your time today and sharing all the great things that you're doing and allowing us to be able to be a part of that. Again, if you all are looking for ways or something to give to, we are here to help. And I put that at the bottom of the screen. So again, y'all have some extra money or you just want to give something to someone before 2025, right there to those websites and press that donate button and give as much as you can.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course, this is the season of giving, and we want to make sure you do just that. People are saying, they're glad that you've been a part of this. Clyde Smelson says this is amazing. Justin Sneed says, wonderful segment. I'm ready to learn in 2025. These is goals. Listen,
let's go.
We got our Black people wanting to learn some sign language today. I love it.
Yes.
Again, thank you. You are always welcome back to our show. Anything you have going on, if you want the people to know, hey, you say, Jonathan, I need to tell the people. Even if you want to say it and turn your voice box off, that's fine. I'll do my best.
And next time I'm gonna bring in an interpreter. That was I should have thought about that because all of my content on my website is accessible to the deaf community. So next time I will bring an interpreter.
Oh, that would have been good to interpret this whole show. I didn't even think about that. But I mean, you literally signed the whole time you talked. So, I mean, you did double. It's fine. It's fine. They're not hearing. They would have caught the gist of what you said this whole show. So thank you. And I want to thank those in the audience for commenting and being a part of the conversation. But as you know, again, if you want to be a guest on the show, please reach out to me, www.davisconsultantsgroup.com, or you can Facebook me and say, hey, I need to be on the show. I want the world to know what I'm doing. Again, I thank you. I always just say First Lady, but Michon Shaw, I thank you so much for giving us your time and your yes. And I want everyone to know it doesn't have to be your birthday for today to be your day.